Hi everybody, Resell Brothers coming at you live from the warehouse with another video, Reselling 101. We do over $1,000 in sales every single day on eBay. So we're gonna show you what a day for us looks like. 1 day worth of sales, it's over $1,700 in sales. So when I say $1,000 a day, consistently, we're over $1,000 a day. So this video is gonna show you what a normal day is like for us, every single sale, so you can see what's selling right now for an eBay store that does over $1,000 a day.
Before jumping into that, please like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. It really helps the channel, it's free, and it allows us to keep making this stuff for you. So we thank you guys so much. Let's get into it. All right, so now we're looking at the day's orders. It looks like 51 orders, $1,600 in 1 day on just eBay. Poshmark had about $118, so like we said, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly, so it's going to show you every sale, not just the bangers. The first one here, we have a St. John's Bay new with tag Henley.
Heavy hitter,
now
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, now this is like a $13 sale. What was it? Was it 13?
Yeah.
Yeah, $13.54. This was a little bit older. Sometimes things like this that are cheaper mall brand do take a long time to sell. We recreated it using Nifty.AI. It's a great software. We use it. We're not going to go into huge depth on it right now. We have a free mini course that you can dive in and check out all their features. But yep, first sale, St. John's Bay, Henley.
All right. The next sale is a Leadberry. So I believe this one was listed for a while too. And just if you're new to the channel and you're watching this, as you can see up here, our custom label SKU, it'll tell you when it was listed. So this is the item identifier, the SKU number that we have in our inventory system. It's all numerical. Then we have the average buy cost for that week. We always do like a big bulk to where we have a cost average for every single item that we have for whatever trip that shopping trip is. And then we have the date that it was listed. So this was listed 12/23. So that's when it was listed, and it was recreated on July 31st, 2025. And it took a while to sell even after it was recreated. So
now you might think, why do we put the date in the SKU? We do that so when we're looking at offers, we don't have to go through and figure out when it was listed. So we're like, well, we want to take this offer because it's been listed a long time, but we don't see how long it's listed. So we can see it right there in the SKU, be like, oh, this is an older listing. We want to accept this because we want to move it along.
And one of the reasons I think this Leadberry shirt took so long to sell is because we had it priced way too high. So make sure, maybe even go back and look at your old listings when you first started reselling and see if your stuff is overpriced, because that should have sold a lot faster than it did.
That was when we thought linen blends were worth a ton just because they had a little bit of linen in them.
And they did used to be worth a little bit more.
They sell a little bit higher than cotton, but not over $30 for a used shirt. So. Yeah. This is just a classic Ohio State Buckeyes polo, so for that $21.85. We sell a lot of sports team stuff. As you can see, we put Ohio State Buckeyes in the beginning.
And we're obviously not fans.
Yeah. But we live in Ohio, so we find a bunch of it. So we put Ohio State Buckeyes first because when somebody's looking for an Ohio State Buckeyes polo, they're not necessarily going to type in Nike Ohio State Buckeyes polo. They're typing Ohio State Buckeyes. So we put that first, and it sold pretty quickly.
All right.
Stupid Buckeyes are doing good again. What do you know?
Really good. And honestly, I mean, I'd say at least 50% of our items have been recreated, and that's why they sold. This one was recreated as well. But it's a winter item, so if it was listed in the summertime and it's a winter item, obviously we're going to recreate that to get that new traffic. But this is just an Eddie Bauer flannel. It's a size 2XL, very bread and butter, very normal price range, $17 for this. So that's one of the items that keep the lights on in the warehouse for sure.
Here's a fun one. These graphic t-shirts, I don't know if you know, but t-shirts are one of the, I think, the highest selling item in clothing. Now, not necessarily
easy to list.
One-offs, you know, for us resellers, that's a little different, but just as a whole, t-shirts sell a ton. So this one, Best Dad by Par, just a no brand. Crazy Dog, I think, is the brand, but I like this graphic, Best Dad by Par, pretty cool. Only paid like $1 for it, and it sold for $15.
Pretty quickly. No, actually not that quickly. I lied. Sorry. Next is something that is very bread and butter. I get all the bread and butter.
Yeah, see, a lot of these bread and butters, you can see they do take a little bit longer to sell. We try not to pay a lot for them, so if they do sit, it's not like a big investment that we're like, man, this thing has to sell now. Mall brand stuff, we do take that into consideration that, hey, this could hang on to a while. That's why you look at our 80-20 rule video that we just made a little while ago, talking about 80% of our sales come from bread and butter items that are just like everyday items that aren't going to sell for a ton of money, but that's
like
how
15 to 20 bucks.
Right,
yeah.
That's how you sustain a business. You don't pay a lot for them, but they sell for 15 to 20 bucks. That could take a year or two for them to sell, but if you have enough of them, volume-wise, it pays off.
Like this shirt here, very obviously an old shirt, but it was new at tags. That's why we picked it up. Yeah, it took a year to sell, but we knew we would eventually sell it for a pretty decent profit just because it's a new at tag shirt that has a decently high retail value. So, I mean, we're selling this to some old grandpa who wants to wear a shirt that he got in the 80s, but we're still making...
Or somebody that wants a new shirt that doesn't want to pay a ton for it. You know,
we're still making 10 bucks on this, even though we took a year to sell it. We paid less than $5 for it, so it's a pretty much no-brainer for us.
There's not a lot of places where you can make an investment of $2 to $3 and make
in a year double
make $10 to $12 on
That's
it.
more than double. That's bad math.
Yeah, very bad math.
Triple.
This is Florida State Seminoles. So another sports item.
Tony prides himself on knowing the mascots of colleges.
I just know them. I don't pride myself on them. I know them better than you.
Okay.
But we do sell a lot of sports team stuff again. Like I said, this is the Florida State Seminoles. A nice vest. Sold for, I believe, $30. And it did not sell quick either. But this is another thing that we knew would eventually sell just because sports team stuff.
And this is a good video to do like just a regular day, because it'll show you like how long some of this stuff takes to sell. So if you're listing and like maybe you're new to reselling and you're like, God, these sales aren't coming in. Yeah, it might take a year for your sales to catch up with your listing. I mean, it takes even longer than that, to be honest. So about 2 years, you're going to really see the fruit of your listing if you're buying bread and butter items. Now, if you're buying all bangers, you'll see it right away. But if you're kind of copying us and trying to do what we did, it may take a year, it may take 2 years for you to see the sales really coming in consistent.
I think that's the difference between a side hustle and a business kind of a thing, you know, like where it's if this sits for this long, we don't really care. You make your money, when you purchase the item. This is your turn.
Yeah, it's all about consistency. Consistently listing, and the sales will eventually come. This is a Wrangler Riggs pair of jeans. Now, these actually sold in a decent amount of time, so pretty happy with that. They were recreated, listed in February. Maybe it was a little bit warm, and then we recreated them in June. Now that the weather's cooling down, so actually June would be hot.
Real warm in February.
Now that the weather is cooling down, they sold. So these sold for around $20, and just a normal bread and butter item, like pretty much every other sale we've done so far today. Another one.
This one took a little bit less time, about 5 to 6 months. Another Van Heusen, new with tag, not another Van Heusen, but another mall brand that's new. Bought it pretty cheap. I believe this one was around $4 is how much we paid for it. And yeah, it sold for that 19.
Sold a lot faster than the other one did.
Yeah. So it's weird. Sometimes the mall brands will sell really quickly, and sometimes they'll take a year or two. So it really, you just don't know. So
and there's really no rhyme or reason.
Rather than not buying them, you buy them for cheap, and then you're like, okay, you never know when it's going to sell.
And that's another reason that Nifty helped us so much, is because we are buying stuff like this. So if you're buying all heavy hitter bangers, I mean, do you have a need to recreate items? Not really. I mean, you do still have a need, but it's nowhere near the need that we have. If you're buying everyday bread and butter items, like you said, sometimes you list a Van Heusen and it sells in a month. Sometimes it takes a year and a half. So if you're recreating them and keeping them fresh, it'll help you move that more basic bread and butter inventory. Next, we have a Greg Norman polo, very bread and butter, sold for $14.25. Pretty consistent sales around that range for that brand. It has to have a decent pattern though. Usually.
This Tyndale FR. This one sold in about 5 months, and FR Tyndale, we've sold a bunch of it. It's not going to sell for a ton. More bread and butter-ish. This one sold for right around $17, and something that FR, depending on the brand, is going to do pretty well.
TaylorMade hats do really well for us. They always sell quickly. This sold for $19. Now, are you getting rich off it? No, but we normally pay like $4 for hats. So if we're paying $4, we're flipping it into $19. We're going to take that all day. And hats are super easy to photograph.
New with tag Dickies are very similar to the Van Heusens and the stuff like that. These are more of the workwear, but we can get them really cheap when we do get them. I believe this one was right around $3 to $4, and they sold for $18, and they sold in the same about 5-month period. So
now don't buy them used though,
Yeah,
because
no,
they will never sell. We learned that the hard way. Even if you pay $1 for them, they'll never sell. Nike big swoosh. So let me move our face so you can see it. There's a real big swooshy right there.
big swooshy.
Yeah, a big swoosh.
That's
Shorts.
my nickname in high school.
These have a cool pattern to them. I think there's something wrong with them, to be honest with you. Oh, they're lined as well.
No, they're just swim trunks.
Oh, they're swim trunks.
Board
shorts. Oh, well. Anyway, these sold for $14.25. Nike shorts. For some reason, thrift stores decide to mark them up a lot in our area. So we only pick them up if they're cheap or they've been marked down because they don't sell for
this was actually a point in time where people always ask us, do you buy stuff out of season? If it's the right price, we will. Those Nike swim trunks were only like $1, I believe. So if they don't sell now and they sell next, spring, that's fine. But if they do sell now for like $10, $14 like those did, we'll take it. Like, that's great. So because we only paid $1 for it.
And that's the thing with the Nike, in particular, athletic shorts. Nike is super popular. So if it's a more modern Nike piece, and I mean, it's not going to sell fast, but if you pay like $1 for it, like you said, I mean, we personally pick it up. Now, you might not want to, but we do.
And surprisingly, like I said, the shorts do sell weird times. Like this another pair in the same day sold for, I believe, right around $20-something. I think it was right around 20. New with tags, stuff like that. It still sells throughout the fall and winter time, weirdly enough. So you can still pick that up. I mean, it might not sell really, really quickly. This one took about 5 months, but still sells weird times.
And we pick up these Levi chinos in the pants as well, and we even buy them used. So that's a pretty good bread and butter for us. Next is a pair of Adidas sweatpants. Now,
shout out Avery, I got these for free.
This is not something we pick up ever.
Yeah.
No random, what is this, GC lacrosse?
So that is, like I said, my cousin-in-law gave us some stuff, and we just listed it. I think it sold for like $5, but we got it for free. So, yeah, GC was, I think, Georgetown College or something like that.
That is proof that we are showing you every single sale.
Denim and Flower pants. Denim and Flower is typically a brand we only buy new. This was right around the $5 price range, $5 to $6 if it's new, and this sold for that $26.60. So this brand, it performs really well.
It's new. In Marshalls, TJ Maxx.
It performs well new with tags. Used, it's okay, but you're not going to get a ton for it. You're going to get mid-20s if it's new, which is fine for us.
And most of the time, people who buy this brand know this brand, but they do kind of run small.
They do run small.
Returns can be an issue with that, especially used. Like, they shrink up to, they're not like the highest quality.
Them and Super Dry. Super Dry does the same thing.
Can be kind of a problem. Kind of like Asian sizing. Next is a pair of Eddie Bauer hiking pants. These sold for around $25. And these always sell pretty quickly for us. Really nice bread and butters. And even Eddie Bauer's a lower. Bread and buddies.
Just some Calvin Klein dress pants that are new with tags. I mean, you see these mall brands still, that's $100. And this is an older pair, so this is without the inflation of nowadays. But this sold for $25, I believe. So, like I said, same situation here.
Not even wool.
Yeah, we're going to pay typically for something, especially that's not wool, it's a mall brand, we're trying to pay between $5 and $8 for something like this. This one was closer to $5, and it sold pretty quickly, really, about 2 or 3 months.
All right, what do we got? Grayson. Here we go. Here's a Grayson pullover. Now, I said milk jug in the title for this. It's not really a milk jug, but it looks kind of like a milk jug. I mean, maybe that's a milk jug. I don't know. There is a milk jug logo that adds a ton of value to.
This is not that one.
To golf posts, but this is not. When I bought this, I actually thought it was that one. I kind of just glanced at it, but sorry, I lost my voice. I kind of just glanced at it, but still sold for $38, and it sold pretty quickly at that. So I guess if you put milk jug in the title, it sells
the other
for
one's MacArthur, I believe, Golf Club or something like that. We have a free. A list of golf clubs and golf logos that sell for more money if you want to check it out.
Yeah, so. it's on a Gumroad link, so you put in your email and then it takes you to the sheet and it has a bunch of really good information. We found, I mean, I don't even know how much. We've probably made over $1,000 just from the research we've done on those logos.
Bonobos, these are not going to sell for a ton. Weirdly, I thought the pants would sell. This is a brand where you really thought that normally pants are worth more, like pants and jeans are worth more than like your typical button-down shirt or something like that. For this, it's not necessarily true. This one sold for, I believe, the low 20s, 20-something dollars. So it's not much more valuable than the shirts. But it still sells decently fast.
This brand has kind of fallen off, in my opinion. Yeah. I was looking up a wool sweater, so you'd think even it was new without tags, too. I know everybody makes fun of me, new without tags. And by everybody, I mean Tony. I say everything's new without, but it was definitely new without tags. And a wool sweater, I mean, you can't even pay $10 for it because they only sell for like $30 at the most. So this brand, the only thing that's still really good in this brand is the suits. But, I mean, the brand's really fallen off, in my opinion.
But it still sells. It sells.
If you sell it, comment, because I'm interested.
It sells relatively quickly.
Yeah.
You just can't pay a lot for it.
Comment what in that brand is still good.
Our thrift store asks a lot of that. He's saying this because our thrift store asks a decent amount of money for them. Like you said, around $10.
They found out they're popular. Yeah.
They're around $10, so they're popular, but they don't sell for a ton. So we want to try more close to five and under instead of 5 and up.
Is this? Why did I say Vanderbilt?
Oh, typo.
It's a Vanderbilt men's Adidas polo.
Typo is still sold in, what's that,
so
3 months?
Yeah. Vanderbilt's a really good school, I guess. But that's just very bread and butter, sports team, college.
This is an Alfani that had an issue. I think it had a hole. You know how they put the tag of the price tag in the thrift store and it goes through the fabric and it makes a hole? That's what happened to this one. And it was really annoying. And it sold for like $10.
We still doubled our money.
Yeah, we only paid, like I said, this is one of the mall brands we try not to pay a lot for. Probably $2 to $3. It averaged out to $6.15 that trip, but that's not how much we paid for this. Sold for like $10.
I'm happy with it, especially if it has a hole and you still break even. That's a win for me. J. Crew 770 jeans. Not all J. Crew jeans are good, but these are actually the Japanese fabric. So anytime you see Japanese fabric on a pair of jeans, look it up because it could mean really big money. It would normally mean even more money for these J. Crew jeans, but the size is really large, and most of the time you think large size, oh, that's better. But with J. Crew and certain other brands like Banana Republic, brands that are geared more towards slender fit people, the bigger the size is not always necessarily the better. This actually hurt it quite a bit. It would have probably sold for double that if it had been a smaller size. But still, I mean, we're making really good money. I think I paid maybe $3 for these because nobody wanted to buy a pair of jeans that were 44 by 34. So keep that in mind when you see these J. Crew jeans. Smaller size can be better sometimes.
All right, next one we have a Vineyard Vines Performance. That style of Vineyard Vines still does pretty well for us. It's not going to sell for a ton, but I believe this one was like a $23 sale, and it sold within, looks like a month and a half, something like that, 2 months, so
pretty good.
Pretty decent. The performance and on-the-go stuff is selling for less now than it was, but it's still selling pretty quickly.
Next is another pair of Bonobos jeans. As you can see by this $23.75, very bread and butter pricing. Nothing crazy here, but it is keeping the bills paid.
Next, we have some weatherproof vintage jeans. We try not to buy skinny. These are straight jeans. I know you're thinking,
why'd you buy
these? But we paid around $3 for these.
It was even less than that. It was less than $2.
Okay, well, we paid less than $2 for these, and they were new with tags. And coming into Q4 and Christmas time and stuff, sometimes it helps to have some new with tag stuff that people can buy for gifts and everything. And if you're paying less than $2 for something, the investment isn't huge in it, and it's selling for $20. So we'll take that all day. Yeah. And it sold quick, about a month and a half.
They're also a 5-pocket stretch, so they have the word vintage in them. So those are some good keywords that you can stack even with a less substantial brand. Next is Savane new with tags. Now, these are big size, and big sizes are good with this brand. So size 50 by 34, definitely on the larger end of sizes. but these sold for that $28.50, and I believe they sold pretty quickly, if I do believe so. Yeah, so they sold really quickly as well. So Sylvain, new tags, big size, all contributing to that sale price.
This was Elo Beam, just plain polo. Paid $1 for this. I remember exactly where I was when I bought it, and it sold in about a month, and it was very recent.
Oh, that's why you remember it.
Yeah, that's why I remember it. And yeah, just a good sale.
Bread and butter.
$10.
Now here's a little more out of the ordinary sale. This is a new tags Roan vest. We paid up for this. I believe we paid around 20,
in the teen,
20.
in the teens.
I think it was 20.
Yeah, something like low. I think it was mid-teens. I thought it was like 17 or 16 or something.
I bought it and I paid more for some of these, less for others. I don't remember. It was either a little less than 20 or like right at that $20 price range. But anyway, it sold for $66.50. And anytime you see a new tags Roan item for $20, it's probably going to be a pickup. As long as it's, but this is a little more substantial piece actually. If it's like a t-shirt, don't buy it, but I don't want to say every time you see a new tag Roan, you should pick it up if it's $20. But this particular piece was worth
exactly what you said.
I know, I don't want, I said it, but I didn't want to say after I said it. I thought about it for a second. I was like, yeah, maybe don't do that. Anyway, pretty good profit on this item, and it was really quick to photograph because it's just a little vest.
This is a Callaway, just classic kind of pullover, quarter zip pullover.
$88 MSRP.
If you see these big tags like this, it's almost always
Sam's Club.
A Sam's Club or a Costco kind of a purchase where that's where it was from.
A little lower.
So they're not going to sell for a ton. This one was $26.60, I believe. We tried to pay around $10, maybe $8 to $10 for this. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it was decent sale. Like I said, new tag stuff sells good in the wintertime for Christmas.
This sold for $33.25, just a pair of new Adidas joggers. Not much else to say about this. They're going to sell for around $30 every single time.
Some bread and butter Levi's, just some plain used Levi's, sold for $18, I believe. And we can get Levi's for $5 and less, and they sell very consistently between $17 and $25, and they sell, I mean, pretty quickly. That one was about a month, less than about a half of a month, so not even a full month. And yeah, so we still pick them up. They're not going to make a ton. We're going to make probably normally around $10, but if we only pay $5 and less, that's a good return. So.
Yeah, and I've seen some people say that they get more money out of Levi's, like $30 for used Levi's. First of all, it depends on the Levi, but I think that's a little less realistic in today's current market. So, I mean, don't overpay for Levi's. A lot of places mark them up, but like you said, we're paying $5 max for Levi's. Next is a Lacoste Polo. Now, I think this might have had something wrong with it.
It definitely had to. Yeah.
Yeah, it had some staining on it. That's why it sold for less money, but $14.25. For something that we paid probably $5 for. Still not bad, and it sold quickly as well. So a couple pluses on a not so good item. We'll take it for sure.
This, I believe, Christian said he paid $30 for. 40? Was it 40 or 30?
It was 20% off of 40, so whatever that is.
Yeah. So this was
what, 34?
A classic Banana Republic wool jacket. That's like a long coat. And it is long coat, parka, houndstooth, so it had some good stuff on it to make the investment worth it. We knew it was going to sell. It sold for $142 in about a month, a little less than a month. So
yeah, they actually had a couple more of these that I didn't buy because the comps weren't there. I mean, I'm dumb. I should have bought them, but $40 seemed like a lot. And the other ones weren't new with tags. They were new without tags. So
shocker.
I was like, I'll buy the one with the tags and see how this goes. And I think I probably should have bought the other ones based off this sale. But
so quick.
Still happy with it.
142.
You can't win them all, you know. This one sold, I think this actually sold for like $40.
It was 40.
45 maybe?
48.
Okay, so this sold for $48. This is a rare women's find for the Resell Brothers. We kind of have steered away from women's clothing. But we still pick up good stuff like this new with tags, plus size Talbot sweater. Plus size in Talbots, new with tags. It's pretty much the only Talbots we're picking up. So we're not picking up the small stuff, even if it's new with tags. But this was merino wool. It was new with tags, and it was a size 2X. And with a retail of $199, it was a pretty easy pickup for us. And it sold relatively quickly as well. So that's
Some
good.
Bogey Bros. That's a pretty decent golf brand. It's not going to sell for the mid-30s like it used to.
They're no resale bros.
This one's going to sell for, I believe it's over $26.50 or something like that. So about a $5 investment turned into $26.50. Pretty good. Natural Slice. That's pretty funny.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know the beer Natural Natty Ice. It's Natural Slice.
I'm not a big drinker.
I mean, I've never drank it. I don't drink either. Oh my gosh.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Next is a Marine Layer Newtag sweater. This is a wool blend. I believe it's not got a very large amount of wool in it. Probably just like maybe 10%. But wool blend, Marine Layer Newtags. I don't know why I'm elaborating on how much wool's in it, but
it's important detail.
Marine Layer, decent brand. Newtag is definitely going to be a pickup. We paid like $10 for these, and it sold for, I believe, or a little over 40, somewhere around that range.
Anthro Pilcrow. So Pilcrow is a brand of Anthropology. So this was just a cashmere sweater. It was a little on the smaller side, so we were a little tentative at first. Didn't know for sure how it was going to do, but we thought cashmere, 100% cashmere, it's going to sell for at least in the 30s, and that's what it did. It sold for right around $38, and it sold very quickly as well.
I was kind of surprised by how quickly this sold.
So it's kind of like that half crop sweater kind of
thing. If you find
a
100% cashmere sweater in an Anthropology brand and it has no holes in it, it's almost always a pickup.
We sold a couple of those.
Yeah, they've done pretty well.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
This had a flaw, just so you know.
This had a flaw. No, here's an Under Armour polo. It actually has a really cool design. So I always like picking up the Under Armour polos that are, one, more modern. You can just tell by the tag and the branding of them if they're more modern. And by the way, they're cut as well. And if they have a cool pattern on them. So those two things are what I'm looking for.
They say something like this, the performance polo. There's the performance polo and the playoff polo.
Yeah. You got to really watch these logos, though, because a lot of times the middle of them will peel. But this had a big snag in it, which is why it sold for less. But $9.50, not losing money on an item that has a pretty massive flaw is going to be okay. I mean, obviously not ideal, but I'm not going to cry myself to sleep about it. I do that about other things.
Vintage Orvis button down. Paid $1 for this. It says $2, but that was the average, so I only paid $1 for it. Sold for $14.25, and it sold quickly too. That's less. It's literally, it took 9 days to sell that.
And the old Orvis stuff is better than the new stuff because they've since, but they were like in Sam's Club. They're in, I think maybe even Walmart. No, not Walmart. Meijer maybe. No, not Meijer. I know they're in Sam's Club.
This is a train wreck.
Sam's Club, Costco. But since they've done that, the brand has kind of...
there are other layers of Orvis. That's just, it's the same thing as at Greg Norman. So the stuff that is sold at Sam's Club isn't going to sell for as much. The 100% wool outerwear is going to do well. So it just, there's layers to every brand. In that vintage one, it's not going to sell for a ton. It's just a plain button down, but it's something that has some brand recognition that can still sell between $10 and $15.
But if it was like a leather jacket, I mean, it'd be over $100.
Oh,
so
no way.
It just depends what it is. Next is a Lucky brand pair of jeans, new with tags. This style, the 121 Slim Straight, it's not the best style, but it is okay. We pick it up used as well, but it only sells for like $20 used. So style is okay. Size is pretty good, 32 by 32. That's why we picked it up. Sold for around $38.
Classic Nike Dry Fit Polo. These still, it had a logo on it. So it's new, but it had this Key Food logo. Don't know what Key Food is. But if something has a logo like that, that is, I mean, even if it's on the sleeve, it's not as bad. But if it's still a big logo, we typically will either buy it for $1, or if it's new with tags and it's less than probably $5. So I think this one was $2 or $3. So we'll take that chance, especially if it's not on the front.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Something that's more off to the side on the sleeve, it's not going to affect its value as much. I think this one sold for $17. So we'll take that all day.
Another good thing is that it kind of matches the color of the polo. If it was like a bright white logo, it would probably make it take a little bit longer to sell.
Or you found a nice Key Food employee.
Yeah, well, I guess that's true. Here's a G-Star Raw hoodie. I'm assuming there's nothing wrong with
So
it.
this had no strings, and it had holes and stains.
Paint.
Yeah.
Oh god, this thing's terrible. Who bought this? Anyway, I think Tony bought this.
No, I think it was cheap though. I think it was, it was. I remember buying it, but look, it sold in like literally 6 days, 7 days.
It does still kind of have a cool look to it. Yeah. G-Star Raw people in general normally like a little more of a rugged, what's it called, grunge look. So
the thrift store had it priced down because it had the flaws. I think it was literally $2, and it sold in 7 days. So who's saying it's a bad buy?
I just did.
I know, and you're wrong. Hurley Henley. This is a Hurley, something like this, new with tags. It's not going to have a ton of value, but it is new with tags, and so we still buy it. This was probably around a $5 purchase, sold for $19.
Cool logo.
Yeah, take that all day. Mall brands, I'm telling you, you can sleep on them, but
we're getting close to the end here, ladies and gentlemen.
Specifically speaking to
I will, ladies' pair of pants. Here's a pair of Athleta leggings. They are ultra high rise, which can be good. The 7/8 length, I don't think necessarily is a good thing, but they're new with tags, so they sold for $23.75, and they sold relatively quickly, listed October 5th, so actually really quickly. But
sold October 8th. They were listed October 5th.
Super fast, yeah.
Sold relatively
quickly. Maybe underpriced those a little bit, but
oh, that's funny.
I always get towards the end of the video, my attention span starts to
this sold in literally a day. It was a Sherpa-lined shacket. I found that when you type in shacket on eBay, I don't know if I was just having a bad search day on eBay, but it doesn't come up as well. So I try to put shirt, jacket first, and flannel if it can fit. But shacket, people talk about how it's so great. I didn't see where it showed up a ton in the search, but this sold really quickly in a day, so maybe I'm wrong, but it sold for $40.
All right.
That was a long explanation to say. It sold for $40.
Next is a Harley Davidson t-shirt, size 2W. Is it really a 2W? Interesting. It's basically probably a 2X if I had to guess. But sold for $18, and it sold really quickly.
Adam Derrick. I've never heard of this. Christian bought it.
It's To Boot New York.
Oh, sorry. To Boot New York. Is Adam Derrick a line in?
I don't know why our VAs put Adam Derrick first in the title. I don't believe they should have done that.
But. Okay. Anyway, To Boot New York. This sold for $38, and it sold in a day and a half. So, take that with what you will. We do buy shoes. We typically buy shoes that take less work, and athletic shoes take a lot more work normally. They have to be cleaned with the synthetic uppers. Leather shoes that are more of the workwear, kind of like the dress-up shoes, seem to need less work, require less work, are in better shape. So we picked it up.
Next is a pair of athletic New Balance shoes. These were new, so that's why we picked these up. More store displays because there's a little bit of dirt inside here, like somebody wore them, but the bottoms were perfectly clean, and you could just tell they were brand new. These sold for around $40, and they sold within a day, so maybe listed them a little too cheap. And we've kind of found that these New Balance Velcro shoes perform a little better for our store than even like when you look, when you do a search for them. And they might have maybe a 20% sell-through rate when you do a search on eBay, but in our store we're easily at 100% sell-through rate with these New Balance Velcro shoes.
So he said it might have sold we sold it a little too cheap because it sold so fast.
Yeah.
Or
it could have been perfect.
In our opinion, that is not as common as other people. You never know when you're going to get another offer on something. So something like this New Balance that. It's not a crazy brand that's the best brand in the world that you're trying to get $1,000 for. So if you get an offer that's good enough, we think you should take it. Take the money now so you can invest it in something else, because you never know. That could sit for 2 years if you don't accept a reasonable offer because you're trying to get a couple more bucks. So take your offers if they're reasonable.
All right, that's it for eBay.
Yep.
We had some orders on Poshmark.
All bread and butter stuff.
Yeah, all bread and butter. We had one Viore hoodie that sold for $40. That was probably the most substantial sale over there.
An Untuck It button down, a Tommy Hilfiger button down, a couple other things that were just typical bread and butter. It was $118 in sales.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget about Nifty. Code RESELLBROS for 15% off. It's how we're selling all of these items. It's how we recreate our items that are more bread and butter. Maybe they take a year, half a year to sell, but we're recreating them and we're keeping them fresh. And it's kind of how we're able to buy more lower tier items and still pay the bills, because we can pay less for them and make sure that they're getting seen by the eBay algorithm. We also use Nifty for the AI feature now to do the titles and do all the attributes, filling out the characteristics on eBay and cross-listing to multiple platforms, all at the same time, all for a very reasonable price. So check out that link, check out resalebrothers.com to get our free mini course on how Nifty works. Code RESELLBROS again, 15% off, biggest discount anywhere on the internet.
Remember, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We really appreciate it. And we will see you guys from the warehouse
next week
in the next video.
Yeah.
Go Blue!